What is up, my boy? The GOAT has entered. Anyway, we got today, again, the scariest cave deaths ever. Bro, I don't know why people cave dive. I guess it's for thrill, bro. But like, bro, like, and I be seeing videos on TikTok, bro. Bro, people who cave dive. It will be like a bunch of spiders. They'll be all around them, and they'll keep like, bro, there's spiders around. You're gonna keep going, like. You got it, bro. I ain't gonna lie, you got it. You got it, bro. You got it. I ain't got nothing to say. You got it. You got it, bro.
Cave
Let's get
incident.
into it
On
though.
July 10th, 2005, five friends went camping in San Luis Potosi, Mexico. Miguel was the leader of the group. The other friends were Carlos, Alejandro, Alio, and Daniel. None of them had ever been in a cave before. They did not bring any proper caving equipment. They had no helmets and no good flashlights. What they did bring was lots of beer, tequila, and a speaker for music. They wanted to have an underground party inside the Satano cave. They entered the cave in the afternoon. The friends started drinking beer right away. That night, there was a party inside the cave. The five friends drank a lot of alcohol at the party. They went deeper into the cave than they were supposed to. They ignored the "do not enter" signs. Around midnight, it started raining very hard. Miguel wanted to go back to their campsite to get more beer. His friends were worried because Miguel had drunk too much alcohol. Alejandro decided to go with Miguel to help him. Miguel walked ahead and Alejandro followed behind him. The rain was getting harder and the ground was very slippery. Miguel got confused and walked off the safe path. He could not see where he was going in the dark. Miguel thought he saw solid ground ahead. He stepped forward confidently, but there was no ground there, only a deep hole. Miguel fell into the pit. Miguel screamed as he fell down the deep pit. He fell 79 feet, then slid down a slope, then fell another 62 feet. Miguel hit the rocks very hard and died instantly. Alejandro called out, but got no answer. He was very scared and ran back to the party. He told others what happened. Carlos called the police. Alio and Daniel ran out to look for Miguel. The rescue team arrived at dawn when the rain stopped. The four friends showed the rescuers where Miguel had fallen. The rescuers had proper safety equipment and ropes. They went down into the deep cave safely. At the
Gotcha.
bottom, they found Miguel's body. Miguel had died from hitting his head on the rocks.
Ah,
The rescuers brought Miguel's body back up. After this accident, the authorities put up warning signs. They banned underground parties in the caves. Vancouver Cave Incident. In 2010,
why are
three
they even
high
trying
school
to do
students
that, bro?
decided to
Like,
explore a cave in Vancouver. Their names were Alex, Rachel, and Jack. They had heard about a beautiful chamber inside the cave that sparkled in the light. Alex was the most experienced caver of the three. Jack had never been in a cave before. This was Jack's first caving adventure. The three friends put on their headlamps and entered the cave. They crawled through narrow passages that were easy to navigate. The air smelled like damp earth and they could hear water dripping. The cave floor was muddy in some places. Alex knew the cave layout better than his friends. He usually led the way while Rachel and Jack followed. They climbed up a steep slope to reach a narrow spot. This narrow spot was called the squeeze
see,
penetration.
bro.
From
That's see.
Now what the hell?
I just clicked the wrong sound. I meant to click this. That's just your cue to go, bro. That's your cue to go. To squeeze penetrate.
up a steep slope to reach a narrow spot. This narrow spot was called the squeeze penetration. From there, the cave split into two paths. One path led to a big room. The other path was even smaller and led to unknown areas. Alex told his friends to be careful because the passage was very tight. Alex should have gone first since he was the most experienced, but for some reason, he decided to go last. Rachel was small and slim, so she went first. She made it through the tight passage easily. Jack went second. He had to breathe hard to squeeze through, but he made it. Alex was the tallest at over 6 feet tall. He followed behind Rachel and Jack. Rachel and Jack kept moving toward the chamber. They thought Alex was right behind them. Alex tried to squeeze through the narrow passage. As it got tighter, Alex started to panic. In his confusion, Alex took the wrong path. He went into the passage that led to
No.
unknown territory. This passage was even narrower than the other one. Alex pushed forward but got completely stuck. He could not move forward or backward. The cave walls pressed against his body from all sides.
No.
Rachel and Jack reached the beautiful, sparkling chamber. They were amazed by what they saw. At first, they did not notice that Alex was missing. When they turned to leave, they realized Alex was not with them. Rachel's heart sank when she realized Alex was gone. She quickly went back to look for him. Jack was very scared because this was his first time caving. As they crawled back, they could hear Alex calling for help. They found Alex stuck in the wrong passage. Rachel held Alex's legs and tried to comfort him. Rachel told Jack to go get help. Jack ran through the cave as fast as he could. The rescue team arrived after a few hours. They looked at the situation and started working to free Alex. They used drills, hooks, and ropes to try to pull him out. Alex was getting weaker as time passed. He had been stuck for many hours. It was hard for him to breathe in the tight space. The air quality was poor in that part of the cave. After 4 hours of rescue work, the team finally freed Alex. The rescue team carried Alex out of the
Bro.
cave quickly, but Alex was too weak and did not survive. 5.
No.
Hermit's Cave Incident. On April 5th,
Dang, man.
1999, three friends went camping near Hermit's Cave in Oklahoma. Robert Kennedy was 21 years old and from Mogi, Oklahoma. His stepbrother Richard Steeler Jr. was with him. Their friend Ben Keegley from Tulsa was also supposed to come. Robert had heard rumors about secret side passages. People said these passages led to hidden parts of the cave. Robert had never been caving before. They brought just one flashlight and no helmets. Ben had to work early the next day, so he could not come. The safe rule for caving is to always have 3 people. If one person gets in trouble, another stays while the third gets help. But Robert and Richard decided to go anyway. They entered the wide cave entrance easily. They crawled through the main passage. The cave was slippery, damp, and cold. On their way back, Robert saw one of the side passages. This passage was about 150 feet
Bro, he's
long.
gonna
It
get
had
stuck in
many
that little
twists and
entrance,
turns
ain't
that were
he?
hard
Look
to
at it, bro.
navigate. Robert reached a dangerous section called the Keyhole Formation. Robert squeezed through the keyhole head first. But Robert did not know that going head first was wrong. Experts always say to go feet first in unknown caves. This way you can back out if there is trouble. Robert did not know the passage ahead got much
Oh yeah, he's
narrower. He
cooked.
tried to
He wait, he have to put his head. Oh, he's cooked. He's cooked.
squeeze through by breathing out all his air. Robert realized he could not go forward, but his body was already stuck tight between the rocks. Gravity was pulling him down toward the muddy floor. His face was pointing down toward the wet mud. Robert started to panic and called for Richard's help. Richard came to help but could not reach Robert. Richard saw that Robert was stuck very badly. The only thing Richard could do was go get help. After about an hour, 3 rescue workers came to the cave. The rescue was very difficult for several reasons. Only one rescuer could reach Robert at a time. The air quality was poor deep in the cave. The rescuers tried to make the keyhole bigger with hand tools. Finally, a rescuer reached Robert's feet. Robert was not responding. The rescuers tried to pull Robert out by his feet, but they could not get enough leverage to pull him. The only choice was to dig around Robert's body. It took over an hour to finally move Robert's body. They brought him back to the cave entrance. Paramedics were waiting to help Robert, but it was too late. Robert had died. Schroeder's
Dang,
Pants
man.
Cave Incident. On Saturday, February 13th, 1965, 3 friends went caving together. James Mitchell was 23 years old and worked as a scientist. His friends Hugh and Charles Bennett came with him. They wanted to explore Schroeder's Pants Cave in Dogville. First, they went to visit George Lyon, who owned the land above the cave. George was not home to warn them about the dangers. Cold, melting snow was creating fast-flowing water in the cave. They felt confident and entered the cave entrance. Inside the cave, they crawled through tight spots. Finally, they reached a big chamber with a deep hole. The hole was a vertical shaft that went down 80 feet. James decided he wanted to explore deeper into the cave. He put on a safety harness and tied a rope around himself. James lowered himself down into the deep shaft. As he went down, he met a waterfall of freezing cold water. The water was minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The deeper James went, the stronger the waterfall became. Suddenly, James's rope got stuck and trapped his arm. He was hanging in the shaft with ice-cold water pouring over him. James could not move his arm or climb back up. Even though he was in trouble, James tried to stay calm. He told his friends that he would be okay. Hugh and Charles were only 10 feet above James. They tried desperately to pull him up. For 45 minutes, they struggled to save their friend, but they could not pull him up against the icy water. Charles realized they needed help. He climbed out of the cave to find rescue workers. The closest cave rescue team was in Washington, D.C. They had to fly to the cave to help, but by the time the rescue team arrived, it was too late. James had died from hypothermia. Cave walls started to collapse. Rocks and boulders blocked the way. The
Dang.
rescuers were worried the cave might collapse completely. They could get trapped inside too. Finally, they had to seal up the cave. This turned the cave into James's tomb. In 2006, something amazing
Dang.
happened. Christian Lyon was George Lyon's grandson. Christian had grown up hearing about James's death. He did not think it was right to leave James's body in the cave. Christian decided to recover James's remains. Christian put together a team of expert cavers. Christian and his team went back into the dangerous cave. The passages were still collapsed and treacherous. Christian went down the same vertical shaft where James had died. He faced the same icy waterfall that had killed James. Finally, at 75 feet deep, he found James's bones. Christian felt many emotions when he found James. After 41 years, James's remains were brought out of the cave. James was given a proper burial. Megawell Cave Incident.
that's
On
nice.
January 13th, 1991, 3 cavers went to explore Megawell Cave in Alabama. John
Oh, wow.
Mossey was the leader and had 10 years of caving experience. Linda O'Donnell and Charles Daffinger were newer cavers. Charles was 26 years old and weighed 240 pounds. He was very excited about caving and wanted to try harder caves. The plan was to go down a 310-foot deep pit in the cave. It had been raining recently, so water was flowing into the cave. The water made everything wet and slippery.
Oh,
John brought a
Lord.
rope. They set up the rope
Bro,
at
he's
the
gonna
end.
fall and break his neck meat and fucking fall in the end, bro. Oh, brother.
Entrance to the pit. The rope had to go over a sharp rock ledge 20 feet down. This rock had deep grooves from other ropes rubbing against it. John went down the rope first and reached the bottom safely. Linda went down second and also made it to the bottom. Charles went down last. All three cavers spent 45 minutes exploring the cave at the bottom. The cave was huge but very cold and wet. Linda was shivering from the cold water. John decided it was time to climb back up. John climbed up first and reached the top safely. Linda climbed up second and also made it out. She was very cold, so John told her to wait in the car to get warm. Charles started climbing up the rope last. John waited at the top of the pit and called down to check on Charles. After 20 minutes, John could not hear Charles answering. John grabbed the rope to check if Charles was still on it. The rope felt loose and had no weight on it. John pulled the rope up and saw that it was broken. The rope had snapped somewhere during Charles's climb. John realized
No.
that Charles had fallen 310 feet to the bottom. John was very scared and ran to tell Linda what happened. They immediately went to find help. A man promised to call for rescuers. John got more ropes and went back to the cave. Linda waited outside to guide the rescuers. John went back down into the cave with new ropes. When John reached the bottom, he found Charles. Charles had died from the fall. His helmet was broken and his body was badly hurt. John wrapped Charles in a sleeping bag. John climbed back up to tell the rescuers. The rescue team worked all night to bring Charles's body out.
All you wanted was
Dang, man. That's crazy, but hey, I see y'all boys, man. That's sad. Y'all boys don't go caving, man. Don't go caving, man.